get the Go Live to work this morning. Just didn't want to play fun with the horizontal screen display. So I want to do a video this morning to talk about the LEITH family order that was issued to the Australian government back before Christmas. I am a direct LEITH descendant. I am of the LEITH family of the Wimmera. LEITH is spelled L-E-I-T-H. So we have a family member called Sir Andrew LEITH of Rains up in Queensland. And he is a Royal Guelphic Order recipient, which means all of the LEITH descendants that come from him, are entitled. So back before Christmas, I made a number of phone calls and made a number of public posts on the internet to issue the Guelph order. I started at the Horsham Rural City Council level, and they were ordered to escalate it all the way up to the Australian government. I've also written statements on my Twitter profile at Lisa Hart. All of that information can be confirmed over there. The Royal Guelphic Order is a royal order. If you do not abide by the order, you are committing double treason against the royals. So as of 7:43 a.m. on Sunday the 4th of January, I am declaring today Independence Day in Australia. We've got a new public holiday, guys. We've got a new public holiday. So Australia is going to declare independence from the government on the 4th of January 2026. So the order back before Christmas was that the Australian government was to be dissolved. You should be functioning on an essential services basis only. So to me, your essential services of the public sector are people like your emergency services, police, ambulance, fire. You should have a skeleton crew at the councils. The overall plan is to decentralise the government and bring the power back to the people, back to the local councils. The local councils are the subject matter experts of your local area. They're the people that you want to be held accountable if they're not fixing your roads. You know, you want to be able to jump in your car and take a 5-minute drive down to the local council office to speak to someone face to face in person, to talk to them about any local issues. And the people in the local office should have the decision-making power. So basically there's no need for fucking Canberra anymore. So the people who currently are in Canberra, you were also ordered to be stood down without pay back before Christmas. Anyone who has not been abiding by this order will be charged with treason, double treason. I'm not quite sure which one it is. Patrick, would you mind confirming that, please? Thank you. So, look, I think that's all I needed to say in regards to the LEITH Guelphic order for the Australian government to be dissolved. So, in addition to this, I did make a claim to the throne back in 2025. The National Trust of Scotland has decided to block me on all social media and once again pretend as though the LEITHs of Australia do not exist. Well, what if I told you that Australia was actually discovered by James LEITH, not James Cook? And if you were to have a look at 1770 and have a look at a place called Ranns Station in Queensland, that's Rannes, you'll see, I think it was like maybe a 3-hour walk from 1770 to Ranns Station. And Ranns Station is where my ancestors, the Leiths, Sir Andrew Leith Hay, because there was a name joining thing that happened at some point when they agreed to come from Scotland to Australia. So James Leith is the original person who discovered Australia. And somewhere along the way, someone decided to change his name to James Cook, and they tried to rewrite the entire history of Australia. So I am the generational curse breaker for the Leith clan of Leith Hall, Scotland. King James Leith, indeed. I'm going to go with a bit of lavender essential oils. Gotta watch out when I break out the essential oils these days, guys. It's like giving me an AK-47, but in oil form. Hey National Security, how you going? Good morning. I have just accidentally said AK-47, which no doubt has popped up as a keyword for you guys up there at Pine Gap. Hey Sarah, it's me, Lisa. I called you on Christmas Day to report that the Horsham Police Station is currently having the phones transferred to random call centres. I believe the random call centres that the phones have been getting transferred to are watch houses, which are regular houses, residential homes that have been created here in Horsham, I think over the course of the last 12 months. So I believe in this situation, Sarah, we are going to need to escalate to the Army or the Navy, please, for assessment. Now, I would start your assessment directly in the police station by going in and having a look with your 2 eyes. First of all, the Horsham Police Station is a 24-hour police station. There's currently a sign on the door that says you're not allowed to enter the police station between the hours of 6 p.m. and 10 a.m. It is putting our entire community at risk. Once again, this is the Horsham Police Station, which is a district station for the entire Wimmera area. So when the smaller police stations are unmanned, which is generally after about 7 p.m. of night, all of their phones get redirected to the Horsham Police Station. If the Horsham Police Station phones are being redirected out of the police station, that is your first security concern. And you should be able to trace that through the phone lines, whatever's happening with Telstra or whoever owns their phone lines. That's how serious this situation is. I've been on the phone this morning at approximately 4:20 a.m. to the police station, once again performing some assessment. I've spoken on the phone this morning to somebody who is impersonating a police officer. The police officer that they are impersonating is somebody with a surname called Munn, M-U-N-N. Munn is a police officer. He has silvery grey hair. He's quite tall and slim. The person who is impersonating Munn is a big fat redhead ranger. This is the issue we have in the local area at the minute. That's why it's proper W word, guys, because we have people running around in the community wearing other people's uniforms, pretending to be police. That's why we are quite at risk in the area, because if you have police arrive at your front door, right at the minute you can't be 100% sure that they are actually police officers. So I believe we need to give approval to the Queensland crew, please. Shout out to Sarge, Trace and Sarge, you know me. It's old Lisa. So Two of my dear friends from Queensland, I believe they would know what a watch house means. So Sarge, I'm going to put you in control, please, mate. And if you need a place to stay, you or Trace, I've got a spare bed here, mate. So right at this stage, my brother Peter John, I can't say our surname. Anyone who knows who I am, my brother Pete is missing. And there is some fuckwit running around town who has actually had some kind of silicone mask made up. He looks identical to Peter, but he's more wrinkly around the eyes. So the way you can identify the difference is the tattoos on the arm. The Eastern Star Pete, the one that wears a mask, he has a blue star on his inside elbow. Peter does not have that tattoo. So this other person who's trying to steal my brother's identity is trying to... Or he's just running around town committing crimes, and he's destroying all of the relationships that Peter has with absolutely everybody. Like, this guy is so proper freako stalker. He showed up here with my mum wearing the mask and told me that my brother had a new phone number. So I was convinced for like the past year that my bro had a new number. And it was this creepo stalker guy wearing a fucking mask. Now, there's like a movie, something to do with like the American president and stuff, where they had all of these silicone masks. I don't know, it's like a bank robbery movie or something. I just feel like that movie is so relevant at the moment. It's like a copycat situation. So if anyone knows what that movie is, maybe you could please watch it, see what happens in that movie, and that should help to figure out whatever the fuck this situation is. But it's proper terrorism. We're dealing with proper terrorism situation here, and it is a direct attack on my family, and as an extension, Victoria as a whole. I just logged into Twitter earlier and I saw a comment from Darren Hunt, who is someone who has been hunting me for a while. I believe he's like a serial killer or something you're from South Australia or something, aren't you, Darren? So you tried to jam it in my face this morning saying something about Jacinta Allen. Jacinta Allen doesn't have a crown, mate. And if she does, that bitch is going to be charged with treason. And I would suggest bringing back the death penalty, and we'll create some hanging docks there at Federation Square for her and her friend Daniel Andrews. Like, who else in Australia agrees that we should possibly look at bringing back the death penalty for some of these people who have committed treason against us, the people? So don't try and stand over me, Australian government. I am literally an entitled little bitch with Guelphic order privileges, and there is no higher order, so you don't have a say. So whoever's holding my family hostage and wanted to ruin not only my Christmas but a whole lot of other people's Christmas, just surrender your soul to God, drop your weapons, walk out the door, hang your head in shame, because, I don't know, you explain to the world. You explain to the world why you are such a bitter and twisted piece of shit that you wanted to ruin Christmas for people. Like, who are you, the Christmas Grinch? I don't even know who it is, guys. To me, it's like a group of people. They think they're funny, they think they're cool. It's like, oh, who's the big dog now? No, you're like adult bullies. Go back to the fucking playground. You know? These are guys, they're literally like... I had a flashback the other day of when I got gang abused in the backyard. And that Eastern Star dude, I'm pretty sure he was like, hey guys, this is how you make a woman surrender to you. And that's when he physically hit me and punched me in the face. You're the kind of guy that would drug a woman and rape them. Don't go around trying to speak words about how women surrender to men if you can't even get a woman to suck your dick without having to pay a fucking hooker? No woman is forcefully surrendering to a man. That's called a controlling relationship. If you're a real man, you don't need to physically abuse your woman. A real man will make you feel safe. That is the number one requirement for a feminine goddess, to surrender her energy to a masculine. First step is to make her feel safe. And if you're going to come up and smack me in the face and be like, you either listen to me or I'll knock you down, bitch, please, I will fucking throw down. Next time, don't walk into the fight 45 minutes later after you've already fucking had all of your friends tire me out. You are nothing more than an absolute fucking coward. So can someone figure out who this cunt is that's running around wearing a mask of my brother Pete? Mick, I've tried to call the farm 1,000,000 fucking times. Why aren't you calling me back? To the good people of the area, to my actual friends, I live in the same home that I've always lived in. If there's anyone that knows that they'd be welcome but can't get in touch with me on the phone because someone's trying to control my communication, then just pop over and say g'day. I'll be here all day. I'll keep an eye out the front. If you pull up out on the nature strip or on the road, I'll pop out the front and say g'day. Only if I know you. Only if you know you're welcome. Because I know I'm having a lot of trouble with communication at the minute. Right, now, to me mate Mike, I think someone's completely hijacked your profile and your name. You remember when we were chatting ages ago and someone had created a fake Instagram profile of yours? I think what they did at some stage when they hacked me is it's like they unfriended you and they added the fake Mike profile. So I've caught them out a number of times. So to the original Mike from America, I miss you, bro. It's really hard for me to get in communication with anyone at the minute, to be honest. Like, I've been doing this live for 18 minutes, 22 seconds. I haven't even had anyone viewing. Let me check the settings. Nah. So, what else do I want to talk about? I probably shouldn't ramble on too much because, you know, I am supposed to be being a royal these days. That's why I'm wearing my royal blue hoodie. And this here is my niece's brand. Those are 2 A's, Arboration Apparel. These are customised hoodies. So you basically order the colour of the hoodie. It will always have her logo on the front. And then you can pick the design on the back. So this is the Eye of the Tiger design. Now I'm not sure what the design for this one's actually called. You'd have to double check Arboration Apparel's Instagram account, website. You can order it all online. These are ethically sourced hoodies. They're so warm. So it took her a lot of research to find some ethically sourced hoodies, but she does all the artwork herself. So these can't be copied and replicated without a court case. So we're going to bring you a sign of hope today, hey? Use the rainbow light. Looks like the batteries are a bit flat, hey? These things happen. So, gosh, you know, it's just been like this situation has been never ending, you know, and because we've had, like basically what they're doing is they're just, you know, a lot of us here in the country, we'll call the police station directly. We don't call the 131 triple number. We don't necessarily call 000. We call the police station itself. So it's the police station phone line that's getting diverted to different places. So when you start selecting the 1, 2, 3 options, those options have been continually changing. So it's actually like that on its own, transferring the police phone line is an act of terrorism on its own. So I got in a street fight the other day. Did I tell you that? Oh no, I'm supposed to be being a royal. That's right. Don't talk about being a street fighter. Now, I was helping someone to actually get their home back. So the same that I have been experiencing with people literally just thinking they can steal a home. Other people have already unfortunately lost their homes. They have come home and found locks changed, not being able to get in, a group of people, you know, they're taking advantage of a lot of people in the community. That's why it's been so important for me to just stay strong and soldier on as much as possible. And as much as some people might think, you know, why would you put all this stuff on the internet? It's because if I don't, who's going to get the help? Sometimes you've got to see how bad it is for at least one person to be able to comprehend the fact, holy shit, if it's happening to her, it's happening to other people. And if she's the person screaming out for help on the internet for the police, then how bad is the fucking situation? You know, when we're talking embezzling government funds at like top level, you know, that money that Albo was planning to send to Ukraine, that wasn't for Ukraine, guys. That was to fund up these people to do all this here. That's why those people in the government need to be told to piss off. They're the actual terrorists. They're not respecting the Royal Guelphic Order. They're not respecting the royals. They're just not respecting us as humans in general. Like if I was to look back at my YouTube channel back around 2020, I'm pretty sure I did a video back then that I said, I feel like we've been taken captive by someone. You know, that I don't know if that was pre-COVID or if that was around the time of the initial lockdowns. But that's what it felt like then. We became occupied by a foreign entity, I'd say back in 2020. And they've been slowly turning up the heat on the stove. You know, we've been the frogs in the boiling pot. The conspiracy folk have tried to warn you for years about the New World Order, and it's, you know, it's going to get real bad. They're not going to stop. And that's why we need to work together as people. You know, we need to remember Let's wind the clock back to 1990. How did we do things back in the days of Neighbourhood Watch? We looked out for our friends. We looked out for our neighbours. You know, how many times have you heard the neighbours yelling and screaming at each other and you've just convinced yourself, it's not my problem? You know, that's not how it used to be. When I was 18 and I moved to Melbourne from the country, the advice I was given from people is that if you saw someone fighting on the street, you just walk past and ignore it. You know, people in the city don't stop to help you. And it's so true. It is so true. And I went on and lived away in the city for about 20 years. And I made some wonderful friends. But even still, up in the last couple of years when I was in Brisbane, you know, there's things that I would do for people as a country person. And they would just freak out. You know, some people, there was a guy once, he blocked my number because I offered to go pick him up and give him a ride. I'd been talking to this guy for like maybe a week on Tinder or something, and his car had gotten towed. So he was messaging me during the day, I think it was a weekday, telling me how his car got towed. He had to go pick it up after work from somewhere. I think his work was like 5 minutes down the road from me, and I had my car at work that day. So I was like, would you like me to come and pick you up? I can go drop you off to pick up your car. And he blocked my number. He was like, it just freaked him out. He thought I was a weirdo. So I was like, oh, whatevs. So, you know, it's sort of, after experiencing these after a certain amount of time, I was just like, you know, you really can't take the country out of the, you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. And I think that's why I found it so difficult so much sometimes to actually make friends with people in the city, is because we literally come from two completely different worlds. You know, and it's not until city people come to the country for more than just stopping in on your way through to Adelaide. If you actually live here and get to know the country people and the way they do things, you'll realise that we are the way we are for a reason. You know, we pass down a lot of family traditions and stuff in the country. We learn to cook from our grandparents and aunties. You know, it's like the same way that the Aboriginals pass stories down through their generations, we pass down skills. You know, I learnt how to sew and garden and farm. I was taught how to drive before I was 10. You know, these are the sorts of things we do in the country that's completely normal. And that's so that the kids can get out and help the adults do the work. So everyone is expected to lift their weight. You know, we used to always do working bees and stuff. You know, it'd be like, quick, everyone over to Monkey's house this weekend. We've got a day's worth of work we're going to get done. 5 of us will get it done super quick. Monkey's going to shout a slab of beer at the end of the day, and we'll have a barbie or order some pizzas. You know, that's how we do things around here. But in the city, you just pay a tradesperson. You know, it's just like, take care of yourself. And that's sadly become the attitude with just a lot of people in general, you know. And this is where part of disclosure, part of the return of the Armada fleet, you know, the Palladians are coming to bring healing. And they're coming to reteach us about being human. A lot of us have simply forgotten how to be human. Human emotions. It's like the machine has taken away our human spark. You know, like, how many times have you had conversations with people and you're like, you know, you can't teach common sense. And it's like, wait, well, you can. If you teach your kids right from the start. But it's like, everyone knows what the problem is. Everyone knows what the problem is. It's TVs. It's phones. Like, if we just took smartphones off the market, we could wind the clock back to like 2000. Just like that. You know, you can't take away social media completely. That's just To me, that's actually a national security concern on its own. I currently can't even log into X. I can't reach out to any of my friends on X for help. I assume it's because of the Julian and Grant social media thing. Like, can we Guelph order that to be removed, please? National security, can you please? Guelphic order. Remove the under 16 age ban for Australia. And please charge Julian and Grant. I believe she needs to be charged for double treason. Isn't she American? So she should be charged for treason here in Australia, and you should allow Donald Trump to charge her for treason over there as well. Please. So I really wish someone could give me confirmation to tell me whether my dad is actually dead or alive. I understand now how long our family's been targeted for. So, I don't know, was Dad the original time traveller? Because if he was, could I have, like, his instruction manuals, please? Because sometimes I fucking get lost and I wake up and I'm like, what fucking year is it? Is there supposed to be someone here to fucking help with this shit? Like, Sarge, I'll put the shout out back to you, mate. Like, if you guys want to come down and pop in for a cuppa, maybe you can bring the instruction manual for me, please. I believe there's a whole lot of paperwork that I need to be signing pretty soon, and someone's just not showing up with it. Like, the situation's actually been so fucking hectic that people have been changing my personal details in the police system. They've been changing my name, my address, my phone number, so no one knows where to fucking find me. Well, I'm here, guys, in my home. So, shout out to my real dad. Remember giving me this cup? This might have actually been Pete's cup, but I always kept it. If you're home alone and the telephone rings. Stranger danger from, like, kindergarten. Big D, is that you watching? It feels like it's you. I met a Turkish man yesterday, Big D, in the cheap ciggy shop, the one next to the exchange. His name was Peter, not my Peter. I wondered if it was your friend. If it is you, Big D, I'm sus on this house across the road. Very sus on it. Not Bianca's house, the one with the fire plug out the front. Somebody who is not me should be observing that house 24 hours, please. Okay, I'll finish the video now. Thanks, have a good day, bye.